starter. Moving forward, as head coach Shane Steichen stated he's not planning for this to be a short-term arrangement for Jones. Yesterday, former starter Anthony Richardson gave his reaction to the news of him losing his starter status. Let's take a listen, y'all.
You just got to respect the decision. They feel like he's the better fit for the team, better fit for the outcome of us winning. So you just got to respect it and just keep working. That doesn't undermine any other work I've been putting in. Doesn't say that I haven't improved.
I think I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. You look around the league and see just like the consistency of having like Patrick Mahomes or like a quarterback behind you that's like been the franchise player for years and years and years.
Lewis, what do you make of what Quenton Nelson had to say?
He's trying to say it politically correct. He's not trying to like ruffle feathers and have there be a big controversy surrounding the situation, being that he's one of the best players on this football team. And he's trying to like kind of take the middle road and say, hey, look, we just want to have some consistency. We don't really care where it comes from. And there's some truth to that. But you know that players always have an opinion about who they want to see on the football field, especially when it comes to quarterback. That being said, look, this to me is a stunning, well, not really stunning, but this is a massive, titanic decision on the part of Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, the general manager, and ownership, to take your 4th overall pick from 3 years ago and basically say, you're done. Because what Shane said in reference to that was the fact that he said, look, I don't want to have a short leash here with Daniel Jones. He is the starter for this season, barring something unforeseen happening, which to me means unless Daniel can't go out there because of injury or he plays this horrifically bad, Anthony's not getting another shot at this. His time at the Indianapolis Colts with this regime is done. And Anthony has to accept some responsibility for this, because really what this comes down to to trust. That's what it comes down to. It isn't about upside anymore. And as RC, I know, is going to probably touch on this, this is about what the floor is. Yep. And they feel like the floor is lower for Anthony than it is for Daniel Jones. And that, to me, look, when you start talking about those kinds of things, it really tells you that people have pretty much thrown in the towel on you. And I hate to see that for someone who they invested so much in terms of draft capital.
The thing for me is he clearly lost all support in the building, right? In order to be drafted number 4 overall, when you only have 13 starts, when you don't have some of the statistics we see from the C.J. Strouds and the Bryce Youngs and the Jayden Daniels, is somebody had to stand on the table and say, we believe that this guy can become a franchise guy. And if I'm Shane Steichen, if I'm Chris Ballard, I believe that we have the developmental people inside the building, the structure to get him there. So that means you gave up on that at some point. And it wasn't the fact that he can't throw it as far. It's not the fact that he can run as fast, because he can still do all of those things. So it's something intangible that you saw that you don't feel like he can improve in the way you want him to improve. And the decision you're making is this. We know who Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is not going to be a star. Daniel Jones is not going to be an all-pro player. Daniel Jones is not going to be that dude that Quenton Nelson is asking for, that they lost when Andrew Luck retired. But what you're saying is, at least I know what he's going to be. Yeah. At least I know I can strategize this way. I can scheme this way, and he can do that. But to me, that's running away from coaching. And what has Anthony Richardson done to push these people away from coaching? Because you see that he has the upside, he has the ceiling, so there's something about him that tells you that he can't reach it there. They are done with Anthony Richardson. They will not play him, and that's why they said this ain't short term. He's lost it forever.
Stephen A.
When you come into the season as a quarterback who was drafted 4th overall just a couple of years ago, fighting for a starting job, and your opponent is Daniel Jones, and it's still legitimized as a quarterback competition, and you combine that with the biggest raving about you is the fact that you changed your diet and that you're reading the playbook more, you're in a world of trouble. We're talking facts here, guys. That's what the hell happened. A quarterback that was drafted 4th overall in his 3rd year in the league, that clearly has had his troubles with availability and ability when he's been available, okay, was being raved about because he changed his diet and he was reading the playbook more. Now, this is a guy that's only 3 days older than Cam Ward, the #1 overall pick for the Tennessee Titans. He's only 3 days older than him. This is a guy that is younger than Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels. And we're still looking at him and we're saying it's over in Indy. That's a bigger issue, guys. That's not just about potential or lack thereof. That's questioning his football character. Something ain't there. Whether it's his work ethic, whether it's commitment to excellence, whether it's off-season work, I don't know what it is. I'm speculating. I have no clue. RC, you've been traveling all over the damn place. I'm sure you know. I don't know. I'm not pretending to know. I'm simply saying, if we're asking those kind of questions, if that kind of skepticism is associated with this quarterback, they're saying we don't believe in him. And that's horrible to hear of a guy that's only 23 years of age. You know how bad you got to be 23 with that athleticism, and they're basically giving up on you? You know how bad you have to be for that to happen? Floor is yours, Dodie.
Well,
Do you feel like they're failing him? The Colts are failing Anthony Richardson?
I think Ballard took a big reach when they drafted him 4th a few years ago. They needed a quarterback. They obviously had a lot of, Peyton quit and Luck retired. Peyton quit. He was injured. He went to Denver.
Abruptly.
Luck retired. I mean, they have been looking for a QB for a long time. Steichen had done a great job with Hurts. So they figured they'd get a guy like Richardson, who a running quarterback, came out of the, laying the weeds, only made 13 starts at Florida, so they took a reach. They took a chance. I don't blame the franchise for taking a chance. They made him the 4th pick in the draft. It's his 3rd year. Steichen has to win. Jones, say what you want, won a playoff game in Minnesota where he played great in the game, him and Barkley when they beat the Vikings.
Yep.
So he has shown you in a certain spot that it can be a factor in a big playoff game, and Richardson hasn't. So they decided to cut bait.
It is.
And it's just football. He got there. He had 3 starts. He took himself out of the game. He was very erratic. They decided to go in a different direction.
Yeah, there is a tidal wave of things that leads the front office and organization to making this kind of decision. And it always does come down to football character in these kinds of situations. You don't give up on guys with this kind of talent unless there are things that you just truly believe will not allow him to ever reach what his ultimate potential is. That's why you drafted him in the first place. You drafted him because you thought, okay, we have the structure and we think he has enough of the football character to take this natural-born ability of his and have it parlayed into him being an all-pro type of quarterback. And they missed. And it's going to be a big problem because people are going to lose their jobs over this. Because you're right, they're not going to win because of Daniel Jones. Yeah. They're not going to win because of him. They may feel as though that they may not lose because of him, but they're not going to win because of him. And their upside is going to be capped with him. I do believe that. And people are going to lose jobs over this.
But I think that's what Shane Steichen is saying, right? Like, let me get to next season. That Anthony Richardson is not our guy. Whether Anthony Richardson can't learn it, whether Anthony Richardson refuses to learn it, whether Anthony Richardson refuses to work on the mechanics that make the easy throws, whatever it is, he's doing something where they gave up on it. And when a quarterback fails, for the reasons you could have predicted that he would fail, to me, that's on the organization. Because if I know you haven't had enough starts, if I know that you're injury prone, if I know that there is a lack of work ethic or whatever it is, then it's my job to fill those spaces for you. And Shane Steichen, who worked with Justin Herbert, who worked with Jalen Hurts, they expected him to be able to do that. What he's saying right now, and Coach Tomlin talks about this all the time, what he's saying right now is they've tried everything and they are no longer running to coaching. They're pushing themselves away from it to know what they can do with Daniel Jones, who they feel stability with.
RC, I'll push back on you on this one point. You're mentioning a lot about coaching. The person to keep your eyes on is Ballard, the GM. I know that Andrew Luck abruptly retired. Nobody saw that coming.